Size doesn't matter. It's the motion of the ocean that counts, man. Let me tell you something. The shortest, smallest email can be more powerful than the longest sales page you've ever seen. Why? Because short doesn't mean simple. It means tight, compressed, powerful, like a dwarf in some sort of fantasy epic, Lord of the Rings, whatever. It's short, it's stout, it's stocky, it's powerful. Doesn't matter that it's not the oldest or the wisest or the prettiest or the best with the bow. When you take away all the noise, when you take away all the fluff, you boil it down to just the essentials, even small packages can be very powerful. Speaking of big things in small packages, let me take you to 1898, the Spanish-American War. Yesterday we talked about the USS Maine, and today we're going to talk about the war that resulted from that. The whole thing lasted just 10 weeks. Both sides were scrambling, completely unprepared for a drawn-out conflict, but the US had an ace up its sleeve, which was 4 brand new warships. And they were just itching to use them. Those 4 ships completely outclassed Spain's navy, and the war was over almost as soon as it began. And what came out of it? Cuba gained its independence, Guam, the Philippines, and Puerto Rico all became U.S. territories, and most importantly, the U.S. expanded its influence over the entire Western Hemisphere over European powers. So what's the lesson? Don't make things longer than they need to be. Whether it's fighting a war or writing an email, getting straight to the point and using the right tools can lead to big results in a record amount of time. So, how do you write emails that pack a punch, that aren't just a couple of words that don't motivate anyone? How do you use 12 lines or less to get people to buy? So here's what we're going to learn today. The $105 trillion formula, which is the entire world economy. The $105 trillion formulas, the 7 formulas responsible for all marketing in the entire world. The 3 essential types of emails that marketers turn to every day to ensure their payday, and 7 of the best short emails I have ever seen. So why do we start with short emails? Well, they're the perfect place to practice the fundamentals of great copywriting. The big thing that you have to do is master getting attention, driving engagement and interest, and inspiring further action. Once upon a time, instead of short emails, we copywriters focused on direct mail. And direct mail is still a thing. You can be an excellent direct mail marketer. However, direct mail has become more antiquated. It is done less often. And because of modern tracking and automation and everything like that, emails allow you to do very similar things, reach new audiences. You know, let's say that you email like 5,000 people, right? So suddenly, with these 5,000 people, you can split test 2,500, get this subject line, 2,500, get this subject line. That's sort of like the outside of the envelope. And you can actually see like who opened this. That open rate is super cool. Now you can do this with direct mail, but it's not the same, right? You don't get the same concrete evidence of, all right, all these people with incredibly busy inboxes, you know, they're getting 100 plus emails a day. What gets them to open? That's pretty cool. And we can get that information now, and we can get it in a matter of hours for almost no money. Basically just the cost of your email subscription. So that's why we start with short emails. It's a great place to practice getting attention, increasing engagement, excitement, and getting people to take action, right? Okay. So because of that, short emails, as opposed to long emails or writing landing pages, it's one of the best places to practice the principles that you've been putting together so far in the course. And the main thing you're going to focus on are those 3 parts: attention, excitement, action. The 3-act structure: the beginning, the middle, the end, right? And you're going to focus on things like creating a beginning that hooks people in, a middle that builds excitement, and an ending that drives actions. And you'll be using some of those writing formulas that we talked about the other day, like problem, agitate, solve, that's PAS, or AIDA, attention, interest, desire, action. These are the tools that help you structure your ideas in ways that are going to compel your reader to do something next. And most importantly, short emails will help you stop talking about yourself so much. Why? Because what you need to do is, if you have 11 or 12 lines or whatever, you only have so much time to convince people that what you're talking about matters. And so, instead of talking about yourself or your product or whatever, you need to learn how to add in a whiffum, a what's in it for me, and use that you language we talked about a little while back. But don't say, I was doing this, and I think you should do this. And you say, yeah, this thing happened to me the other day, and it told me that when you're out in the field, you need to do this, or else you could starve. You could do this, right? You put it in you language. You put that early in the email so they know, hey, this is relevant to me. I should be listening, and I should do something next. So a quick reminder of the 3-act structure. We have the inciting incident, what happened. Often you're telling a story, asking some sort of question, or busting a myth. Go back to like our 2nd or 3rd episode where we talked about creating good subject lines, good headlines, That will be super helpful for that. So here we're talking about some sort of inciting incident for your subject line and the first line of your email, which should be congruent with one another. Then we have a rising action where we're starting out like, here's the question and we're building on that. We're adding higher stakes. We're learning more things. And then there's some sort of a big crisis or problem or discovery at the end that leads you into a call to action at the very end. And don't forget, if you have 11 or 12 lines and you have one line in there that isn't doing anything, or maybe it's doing the same job that another line does. So let's say you're reading an email that says, I found this fishing hole the other day and it was a spot where no one was fishing and there were lots of fish there and it was also a very private experience. Well, those 3 or 4 lines all do something really similar. And now you've wasted a third of your email just building up this location. So maybe you want to rethink some of those lines and say, okay, those did almost exactly the same thing. I'm just going to say, I enjoyed my private, quiet fishing spot. Just added one word and a comma and suddenly you won back a whole line. So think about that to make sure. This is often when and I've struggled with this so far in this course, because I like to write something and then come back the next day, read it again and go, oh, that was totally unnecessary. I highly recommend that strategy for you. You can wait 24 hours before delivering a piece of content. But if you can't and you're sitting like I do, you can use AI to edit it for you, or you can just walk away for a couple of minutes, or you can just be brutal and go through and force it. But I highly recommend, especially for newbies, you're not going to have that goodwill built up over years of practice. So I highly recommend taking some time away before coming back to it to see what was necessary and what wasn't. So let's quickly go back through those structures the other day that we went through. Problem, agitate, solve. Hey, there's this problem, and if you don't solve it, your life's going to get really bad. And here's the solution. That's your problem, agitate, solve. Notice how nicely that fits into a 3-act structure. We have our pass op, which is not a 3-act structure. But it's the 3-act structure with a little twist. So you say problem, agitate, solve. And instead of saying in the next video, when you click through on this button, like you would in a pass email. So instead of actually solving it, you'd put a button in there and say, discovered on the next page. That's a great way to hook people in and get them to take action. But what if you actually want to give them the answer in the email? You go problem, agitate, solve. Hey, in order to not freeze on the trail, you need to have 3 different ways of making fire. That will ensure, this is your outcome portion, that will ensure you're never going cold, you're never at risk of hypothermia. But the problem is most people don't know how to use a ferro rod. Here's my cool ferro rod alternative, whatever. So what you do is you problem, agitate, solve it. You give them the answers and solve. You paint a picture of how cool it is, and you go, oh wait, there's actually another problem. And then in the button or in the course I'm selling or in the product I'm selling, here's the other problem, and you can solve it this way. Before, after bridge, hey, here's what your current reality is like. Here's where you want to go, and here's what you need to get there, which obviously is going to link to your product or your video. Hook, story, offer, something really cool, bust a myth, grab their attention, strong headline, right? Then you're going to tell a story from your life, and then you're going to say, have a brief transition point and then go into your offer. Why is that relevant to your story and your problem or your question or whatever it might be? Desire, obstacle, solution. Here's what you want. Here's what's in your way. Here's how we do that. And you notice just how similar DOS is to BAB. We got the praise, picture, push, which is really good for a warm audience. So you're like, hey, thanks for watching my video, or thanks for completing my course, or thanks for buying this backpack today, right? Hey, you did a great job. You did something that people would never do. You invested in quality, whatever it might be, right? And you say, hey, you did that because of X, Y, Z. Now you're going to be able to accomplish this. But if you really want to do that, if you're really serious about this is the push part, do this third thing that really goes above and beyond. So that's your PPP, your praise, picture, push. And then our PP, we have the promise, picture, proof, push. So we say, I promise you we're going to do this today, right? We're going to accomplish this result. We're going to get you those 6-pack abs. We're going to teach you to never get hypothermia, right? Just by bringing less than a quarter pound worth of equipment with you every time. So there's our promise. Picture, what would that be like? You're not going to get hypothermia. You're going to feel confident in the field. You're going to sleep well. We're going to provide some proof because there's all these people who've gone through this thing before or bought this product before and they love it. You should do it too. I'm going to push you to go ahead and buy. So those are some of our 3-act structures, slightly modified in some cases, and how they work. But there's that WIFM that I mentioned, the what's in it for me. So how does that work? So this is kind of a hook story offer example, a really, really brief hook story offer that has more of a pass op sort of angle on it, right? So I'm coming in, I'm saying I almost died. So that's my personal hook. I'm going to tell a story, and that's all in like the problem area. And then I'm giving them the actual solution in the email. So to make the sale, I'd have to come up with a new problem, right? So I mentioned that just a second ago. It's like, oh, you need 3 different sources, get a ferro rod, get a lighted protector, get stormproof matches. But most people don't know how to use a ferro rod. So there's a ferro rod alternative. So that would be the pass op version of this. There's not a whole email here, but here's how it opened, right? I could start with something like, I almost died, here's what happened to me, I almost froze, and now I do these 3 things. That would just be like kind of a hook story. But if you want to put it in the first 3 or 4 lines, if you want to put it in terms of what's in it for the reader, which can be hard for people to write, not about themselves, but in you language that we're talking about, that's hard. You got to practice that. But it's very important for your retention, not just your open rate, but how many people are actually making it to the end of your email thinking it's relevant to them, right? So I almost died at the end of a 12-mile hike. I opened my fire kit and every last drop of my lighter fluid was gone. Here's how to keep this from ever happening to you. If you do that, you see how much more powerful that is than just me telling a story. If I'm just telling a story, at some point you can kind of check out and go, well, I wasn't looking for story time today. But in those first 3 or 4 lines, if you put in a whiff them, you're going to be good, right? People are going to go, oh, shit, you know what? I actually do care about this thing. And if I don't complete it, I'm not going to get that benefit. Great way to improve retention. So, like I said, you have 12 lines or less to put in an inciting incident, a rising action, and have some sort of crisis at the end. In the event of that pass op that we talked about, that crisis is like, wait, there's actually another problem. So we have the rising action where we're learning, and then it's like, but wait, there's still a problem because most people don't know how to use ferro rods. Or what if you don't have a knife with a flat back on it, or whatever it might be. Maybe that was our twist. By the way, you need like a 90-degree edge to make a ferro rod work. So if you don't have a knife with like a nice flat back on it, it won't work. There you go. All right. So what are some of the categories of emails? We've talked about the different frameworks, but how are we going to structure it differently? And the value email, where we're going to teach them something, build goodwill, and link out to longer content. That's what I was talking about with the PAS email, the problem, agitate, solve, is we're not actually going to solve it in the email, right? We're just going to give them like, hey, in my blog or in my longer video or on my Substack or in my podcast, you're going to learn all about this. Go check it out. That's a nice value email, but the value, the true value, is going to show up in that longer content. Or you can do a promo email where you're creating tension, selling the click, selling something on the other side. That would be like problem, agitate, solve. We're going to teach you how to, you're going to join my full fire course or whatever it might be. It's a free training I'm doing, but I'm going to capture your email. Right? That's a good way of doing it. I guess if I'm emailing you, you're not going to do that, right? So you're actually going to make the sale. You're going to say, you've been getting a lot of free stuff for a while. It's time to like invest in something serious, something more organized and disciplined than you would normally find on YouTube. Check out my course. It's just $27, whatever. Or it's a story email that kind of falls into either one. It can transition into the value or the promo email, but it's just a story email. This is a great way if people are super familiar with your personal brand. Tell a story about your life and then transition it into your value or your promo email. So like hypothetically, as an example, I could tell you the story of the Spanish-American War, the shortest war in U.S. history, to illustrate that something is small but mighty. And then you might use it to deliver value in a video seminar about short emails and how to make them. Hypothetically, if someone were to do that, that would be an example of the story email, right? Or literally any other thing that I've done in this, where I start with a transition and move into something informational, right? So the key, of course, is to tell a story that gets attention, illustrates a point, builds that interest, it has the rising action, and then use it to make a clear call to action. What are you doing next? Go do your homework. That's your call to action. And that's all a part of a great email strategy, is following that in each one of your emails, right? All right. So here's the catch. So I'm saying small is mighty, small is mighty, small is mighty. But that only works if they know you or if what you're selling is cheap, right? If I have 12 sentences to convince you to spend $3,000 and you've never heard of me before, and my product is not that valuable, but I'm charging a high price for it, I have no chance of closing you, right? It's not a possibility. Now, if somehow my short email is like, go to this long landing page, and then I'm going to demonstrate incredible value, okay, it is what it is. It could work. Or you could get them all in the email and say, I'm going to demonstrate value in the email. I'm going to talk about what it does. I'm going to basically do the 12 gauge landing page. I'm going to put in testimonials. I'm going to do case studies. I'm going to, provide examples of how it works. I'm going to build the offer stack, and then you're going to click through and basically just put in your credit card information. Well, now your email is a long email, right? So short emails just don't have that same kind of power. If people have been watching your YouTube videos for forever, or they've been subscribed for 6 months, they open all of your emails, maybe a short email can sell something, and maybe it can sell something kind of expensive. But if not, keep in mind these short emails are mostly for driving people to free courses, low ticket offers, or to send people to your content, right? And tomorrow we're going to teach you how to do that, how to go after those bigger deals, those colder audiences that you want to quickly warm up so that they will do something bigger or spend more money with you. Tomorrow we're going to talk about that long form email. But today, the short but powerful ones. All right. Alrighty, so there's lots of different types of email. You may have noticed during this course that I am a big proponent of sort of like a modified direct response. So direct response in the worst version is extremely pushy sales that used to work, that used to be more effective, and most buyers are extremely wary of now, right? In my perspective, direct response is kind of like, there's too many marketers who are like, maybe subscribe eventually and stick around forever, and I'm just going to deliver value, and one day people will actually buy from me. It's like, yeah, it could work, and it has for a lot of people, but that doesn't mean that each email can't have a goal. Each email or video or whatever should require a direct response, but that direct response could be like, share, follow. It could be watch another video, right? Like there's all sorts of things we could do that are more direct response that aren't quite as pushy. Hey, give me thousands of dollars. Okay, that's not how it's going to work. So for direct response specific email strategy, I highly recommend The Invisible Selling Machine by Ryan Deiss. Great direct response marketer. Talks a little bit about, automation, about the different types of campaigns you want to put together, about how you can write these great one-off blasts that get you lots of business, and how you can do so and kind of build brand equity, get people to like you. So it's a nice like DR, non-DR. All right, so if you want non-direct response email strategy, just talking about, man, what do I even talk about? What strategies do I use? How do I do all these things that are like, not about like at the end of the email, I need you to take action and invest more in my brand or watch the other video. It's more like, how do I make sure that my emails are all getting delivered, right? How do I make sure that I'm in the main inbox and not the updates inbox or the promo inbox? These kind of like very practical, it's probably going to teach you double opt-in for emails, which I don't personally use or really like at all, which is like, I know you said subscribe once, but maybe you want to tell me a second time that you did want to subscribe just in case you weren't sure about it, which is super lame and cringy in my opinion. And if not, you just kick them out. It's like, man, that better be a dang good email in the smoothest possible way, because you're going to get so many people who don't double opt in. And there's other ways you can, like, if you're already cultivating your email list properly, what you're going to do is move people into like 7-day engaged, 14-day engaged, 28-day engaged, 3 or 6 month engaged, whatever it might be. And those are going to be different lists, and you're going to email them differently. So I'm already not going to spam people for the rest of their lives because they subscribed to me one time, right? That's a good way to work on deliverability and the kind of thing you get in this email. But the double opt-in is please, did you mean to subscribe? They're going to teach you that. And it is what it is. You can tell I'm not always the biggest fan of all these like non-DR strategies, right? But it's not very good at teaching you how to write DR emails, just kind of general copywriting and everything. But it is valuable. Those are skills that you need with email. I would just highly recommend pairing it with a strategy from something like The Invisible Selling Machine, and then using this as kind of like just a general best practices for the industry. So Who is this for? I typically kind of rank these. If you're going to be a landing page person, you probably don't need to worry about these quite as much. Neither of them is going to be relevant. If you're only getting 1 or 2 books, this isn't going to be them. If you're buying 5 to 10 books from the course, this wouldn't be the 5th book I got, but it would probably be the 10th, right? So keep that in mind. Now this one is a freebie. I recommend looking this up. It's from something called Autoresponder Madness. It's a really old, when I say really old, I mean in internet years really old. It's like 10 or 15 years old. And so it has some pretty outdated dating examples from like the sort of online pickup artist space. It is what it is. Andre Chaperone is the one who invented something called the soap opera sequence. I think people like Russell Brunson at ClickFunnels are like, oh, hey, I learned this from Andre Chaperone in affiliate bullying / Autoresponder Madness. This is where I learned this thing. And it's really cool to actually get in there and see how it works. And it's like, okay, basically the idea of a soap opera is, oh, next time this thing is going to happen because all of a sudden your dead relative came back and now you're hooked in, and discover next week what happens with so-and-so, right? That's the soap opera. And it's basically saying during this email, while I did all this normal stuff, the problem, agitate, solve, I also raised a new problem, a new open loop that I'm only going to resolve next week or tomorrow or whenever your next email is coming, right? That's the soap opera sequence. It's extremely powerful, and that's Andre Chaperone's thing. He's going to show you how to do it in here. It can be super, super powerful, especially when you're not just doing one promo email. You're not just doing like a one-off, like, hey, today I'm selling this. It's like the whole week is about kind of, introducing you to it. One day, the next day we're going to talk about like actually what's involved. The next day we're going to provide some concrete examples of how it works and how it can work for you. 4th day we're going to provide testimonials and case studies, right? So you can kind of build that out like that. That's the perfect time to do a sales opera sequence, and you can learn about that in Autoresponder Madness. I'll actually show this to you in our next class, just a little portion of it. You can search for this and find it out there. I think Andre Chaperone did, as of a year ago, have a course on this. I wasn't able to find it the last time I Googled it. But you may be able to find him out there, possibly delivering this via email or something like that as a course you can sign up for. So what are some of my favorite short emails? And yes, I do in fact have one of my own emails in here. If you do good work, you can be your own favorite copywriter. So here's Brian Moran at CreatorU/Samcart and his dirty talking AI email, right? This is so often his first one because he's built up a whole brand around himself. All right, so subject line, wait, are you using AI to talk dirty? Great opener. Super, super hooky, super direct response where it's like, what does this even what's going on? What's happening? It appeals to a mass market because it's so nonsensical, right? It's almost like, all right, they're selling creator courses. Like, here's how to make your own course and sell it. What does that have to do with dirty talking AI? Well, it's kind of appealing to the masses, all these people who kind of aspire to have this business but haven't taken much action yet. You've got to find some sort of a way to appeal to them. You're just going to go broad with your subject line. It works, right? Wait, are you using AI to talk dirty? Hey, it's Brian. So I just stumbled upon this crazy story about OnlyFans stars using AI chatbots to, well, talk dirty. I'm not here to judge, but there are so many better ways to use AI, actually growing your legitimate online business. If you let us, we'll show you how to harness AI's power to build a 6-figure a year business online. No fake flirting required. These are real strategies that will level up your business. Click here to see how we can make that happen for you. Talk later, Brian. And I'm pretty sure this is going to take you to a VSL. Yep. All right. So now he's going to talk about how you can use AI to create a course, and then you can sign up for CreatorU. That's a pretty powerful little warm-up sequence, and it all starts with AI. So you see how we did short email here, less than 12 lines to get people to take action. And then we're actually going to warm them up with like a 2-minute video that's going to get you to take action and actually book a call, it looks like, for an accelerator call, which is it's going to provide value, but it's going to be a sales call, right? Okay, so that's pretty cool. It's a nice little way to talk about something that's like, wait, something kind of salacious and interesting, and like very quickly be like, there are so many better ways to use AI. It's maybe not the most direct with them, what's in it for me, but it's like, hey, we're going to bold it, because the thing is, in this email, you're going to learn how to use AI better. That's a nice little what's in it for me. And then you're going to keep going. It's like, hey, real strategies. You don't have to flirt. You can make a real legitimate business and harness AI's power. Cool. Great value prop. What's our next favorite short email? And obviously these are going to be pretty punchy. Another one I like from him was during the Olympics. I was talking about Simone Biles. I think she just come off of some sort of an event or won the most medals of all time or something. All right, she did what? Again, just kind of like a mass market appeal. You see the email, it's an instant open loop. You're like, do I care about this? Who is she? And what did she do? I have to click the email to know what's inside. I'm sure this went bonkers, right? With my short email that I have in here, you'll see something very similar. All right. Hey, it's Brian. The 2024 Olympics are underway, and I can't help but be inspired by the athletes like Simone Biles. Now, this is a story. We're going to see if he's going to do a with him in here, because right now he's just telling a story. At any point, we could check out, right? Her comeback story is truly remarkable. After facing challenges in Tokyo, she's back stronger than ever. It's a powerful reminder of what dedication, consistency, and the right support can achieve. Again, maybe a really subtle with him in line 4.5 if you count "Hey, it's Brian" as a line, and I might. All right, so just like these Olympic athletes, your online business journey requires commitment and the right guidance, and that's where the Creator You Accelerator coaching program comes in. All right. So the only improvement here, because I think it's a great subject line and it tells a great hook story offer, right? The only improvement is if we could do something in the first couple of lines that made it more relevant. Because right now we have "she did what," and then it's like, oh, we're talking about Simone Biles. If I'm not interested, her comeback story, there's Tokyo. Okay, whatever. I'm gone. I don't care, right? So putting in a with them in there could increase your retention. All right. So just like these Olympic athletes, your online business journey requires commitment and the right guidance. And that's where our Creator You Accelerator coaching program comes in. We're your coaches ready to help you overcome obstacles and reach your business goals. Whether you're just starting or aiming for a comeback, we've got your back. Fresh spots are opening up for August, but they will go fast. Come join us. Click here to apply for the Creator You Accelerator coaching program now, and let's make it happen. Brian. Okay, cool. So great hook story offer. Again, the only improvement could be, and sometimes it's so unnatural to do it. Like you'll wrestle with it. You'll come back the next day and the next day and try again, and you just can't hammer a with them into that naturally. It's okay. It is. You're still going to get a 50% open rate, a 60% open rate, and you're still going to get like a 3 to 5% click-through rate. But putting in a with them could take you from 3% to 5%. So it's huge if you can make it happen. Help us find Mary. Yeah, so I like this email. I was doing this for a client, and it was so good that I had people like actually emailing me in, "Please help us find Mary. We logged on the other day and saw this review of our peanut brittle. More peanut brittle. Love it. I went back to get more. Was no more. We're sorry to hear that, Mary." So our subject line, by the way, is "Help us find Mary." That was just very similar to "she did what," and it's like, what's happening to Mary? Oh my gosh. So this was to a cold audience of people who had formerly subscribed to this peanut butter company. They came to me and were like, "We've never used this email list before. We want to start up an email program. What can you do?" And I was like, I don't write a ton of emails anymore. I mostly do landing pages. And also, I don't know that much about peanut brittle, but I'm going to help you out because this is a cool challenge for me. Anyways, please help us find Mary. We logged on today, saw this review of her peanut brittle, more peanut brittle, love it, went back to get more, there was no more. We're sorry to hear that, Mary. No one should have to go through what you're going through. The good news is anyone can order more brittle anytime online. The bad news is we don't know how to reach you. If you're reading this and you know Mary, or maybe you know a Mary who is out of brittle, or maybe you are that Mary who's out of brittle, please order some more brittle before it's too late. So again, I use this short, powerful email to get people on board who are like, yeah, I know the brand, I like the brand, but I haven't bought from you in forever. I got them interested and re-engaged. And then here at the bottom, because it's literally been years and years and years since they've done it, I said, but maybe you don't want to hear about our delicious brittle anymore. We understand. It's not you, it's us. We know the drill. We won't make this harder than it has to be. If you don't want to get these emails, please hit unsubscribe, hit the unsubscribe button at the bottom of the page. Now, traditionally, in direct response, you'd never do something like this. Why would you provide an option for people to opt out? That's crazy. Well, it's because of that deliverability I was talking about before, where it's like, I don't want a bunch of people receiving emails from me and not opening it and getting mad and unsubscribing. That's very, very bad news to your internet provider. So this is my version of a double opt-in. But the reason why I'm doing it isn't because you just subscribed 30 seconds ago and I'm asking you a second time if you want to opt in. This is like people might have subscribed 5 years ago and have not received a single email since. I'm like, look, if you're like, what the heck is this? Get out of my inbox. Just go away. And then I won't email you again and you won't impact my sender score anymore. From now on out, you're going to be good. And so I gave permission for people to leave, right? So very easy. But think of the rest of the email as just this part here. Well, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Order more brittle. Plus the line from the review. So right at that like 12 line mark. There's a short, powerful email that came to a cold audience and got them to engage. So Alex is blurring the lines between that short 12 liner and something that's a little bit longer form. Why? Because each one of her lines here is like a full sentence or maybe even 2 full sentences. So it's really pushing it here. But I think it's worth it looking at some of what she's doing because she's really good at writing emails, right? So let's 87% landing page conversion rate. So we've identified this this group of people who are interested in high landing page conversion rates. So let's talk landing pages, David. What's in a landing page? Landing pages, also called opt-in pages, squeeze pages, or registration pages, are any page you use to capture leads for your email list. Many landing pages offer something valuable, like a report, cheat sheet, free chapter, etc., in exchange for an email list. All right, so we've delivered a lot of value already. Maybe a little heavy on it. Like, what's the action we're going to take at the end? Just check out this week's video on YouTube. So there's a big sell and a lot of value here for that so far, right? What is the number one purpose of a landing page? Contrary to popular belief, the number one purpose is not to get as many leads as humanly possible. So we don't have a whiff them, but we do have a myth busting here. And so this might get people to stick around and be like, wait, what is it that I don't understand? So that's pretty good. The number one purpose of your landing page should be to get as many qualified leads as humanly possible. The difference may seem subtle, but it's a big difference in how much money you'll make or waste building your email list. So what's a good landing page conversion rate? According to Lead Pages, a common conversion rate for an email opt-in landing page is between 5 and 15%. The companies with the most success tend to convert around 20 to 25%, and the very cream of the crop achieves at 30% or higher. Now, me, if I'm doing this, what is that, 3 full sentences in there? I would go to bullets. According to Lead Pages, the common conversion rate, 5 to 15%. Or maybe I do 5 to 15%, parentheses, common conversion rate. 20 to 25%, very successful companies, in parentheses. Cream of the crop, 30%. All right, so that we'd organize it a little bit differently because this is a little bit long. She uses some good formatting because she uses bold and italics, and then she has these little emoji hands, but it's still a lot of long form writing, and I think she's pushing it a little bit. All right, so if you're currently converting somewhere between 5 to 15%, then you're technically not doing too bad. But what if a few small tweaks could get you 72, 75, 76, 79, 85, or even 87%? Wow, look, she actually showed that there. That's really cool. At first, this feels a little redundant and repetitive and kind of annoying, but when you look at it again, you're like, oh, wait. That's not just stacking up the numbers. That's actually me. Okay, she's actually delivering the goods here. That's really cool. These are real conversion rates from our top performing landing pages. If you want to see the 5 small but incredibly effective tweaks we use to get the cream of the crop conversion rates, check out this week's video on YouTube. Alex. and then a PS that helps sell, right? You hear Doors to Spark, my membership for freelance copywriters is open to new members for a very limited time. If you're ready to grow your confidence, consistently land high quality clients, and make more money doing what you love, then I invite you to join us inside this amazing community before the doors close again until 2025. Click here to learn more about Spark. Okay, so it's good. It tells a story, it moves you along. I think it gets longer than it needs to be. I'd probably hack all of this in half and then really push you to get some of the more information inside of YouTube. So, you know what, this is a shorter one. Let's go ahead and do it. What's a landing page? Landing pages, also called opt-in pages, squeeze pages, registration pages. Now, I would hit enter and I'd say, whatever you want to call them. The goal, so I'd say, yeah. Let's talk landing pages. So I say, what's a landing page? Opt-in, I'd say, whether you want to call them opt-in pages, squeeze pages, registration pages, ... Landing pages are any page you use to capture leads. Many landing pages, they do that. You might offer something valuable like a report, cheat sheet, or a free chapter in exchange for an email address. But, there's our problem, but your goal is not to get as many leads as humanly possible. That could be a waste of your time. So I'm moving my WIFM up a little bit. Don't waste your time and money. But this is wrong. If you do this, you're going to waste your time and money. The number one purpose of your landing page should be to get as many qualified leads as humanly possible. The difference might seem subtle, but it's a big difference in how you do your list. What's a good landing page conversion rate? Bullet. Yeah, she's got a lot of good stuff in here. As I'm trying to cut through it, I've eliminated like a line here and a line there. I took the formatting of this from 3 sentences to 3 bullets and say I get rid of this line. So talking about editing, if you're doing 5 to 15%, you're technically not doing too badly. But what if a few small tweaks could get you to 72, 75, 76, 79? Okay. So I wouldn't do any of that. I would say, but what if a few small tweaks could increase your conversion rates by over 50%? And then I'd do the point down, see it. These are real conversion rates from our top performing landing pages. These are real conversion rates from our top, and I'd, really underline and highlight those. I'd pull them out or whatever they might be. I like to use less words and really lean on my imagery if I can. So because I have a design background, I choose to do that, but I think that a lot of people don't like reading long form stuff. Now, maybe writing to copywriters, they want to read more, but I think most buyers are going to choose to watch the video or deal with a graphic more than they're going to deal with hundreds of words, right? So check out this week's video on YouTube to discover the 5 small but incredibly effective tweaks we use to get the cream of the crop conversion rates, Alex. So delete that. We probably only eliminated like three lines and then turn those 3 lines into short bullets, but still, we were able to kind of pull it down and make it a little bit shorter and more engaging. Okay, aren't there enough copywriters from Filthy Rich? So what we're doing here is saying, hey, copywriting has had its moment. Obviously, we have too many people in the industry, right? So that's kind of a complaint someone who's getting into copywriting might have. So we start with, aren't there enough copywriters? Hi there. If you've been bombarded with ads and articles about copywriting and copywriters and copywriting templates, eye roll, then you might find yourself wondering, is the market getting oversaturated with copywriters? Are there too many of us now? Is there space for me? The short answer, no. The market is not oversaturated. No, there aren't too many copywriters. And yes, there's plenty of space for you. But if you're like us and want some proof, we dug into the math. If you want the real numbers behind the amount of opportunity, you'll want to check out today's post. Read on. Enjoy. Wow, so easy. So it starts with a big problem, a big complaint, people, why they may not buy another copywriting course. You start with that objection, kind of bust a myth and say, you want proof? Get your proof in here. That's almost perfectly executed. And then we've got a little bit of a testimonial here of someone who, you can do it. Yeah, just saying, hey, you too can be a copywriter. So we've got some additional proof down here that it's not too late and you can get in. Very cool, nice and direct. Not the prettiest email, and some really small copy. Like you could really get in on that and still get some value there. But Outside of the formatting, the writing is excellent. All right. Aliens, ad number 671. This is from Ben at Biddyco, who just talks about good advertisements that he's seen during the week. And he's like, I mean, he eventually sells something, but most of what he does is just like, hey, this is really cool. We talk about ads that are working. It's such a simple concept, but you can follow him and just constantly get a stream of high value things like, oh, here's what works. Here's some inspiration for what might work for you this week. All right. Hey, David, I just dropped my daughter off at her first day of preschool, so this might be a hook story offer, except I don't know if there's going to be an offer at the end. Except here at the very bottom, kind of a PS sell every single time. So cool. I just dropped my daughter off at her first day of preschool. To see the full ad from Autoresponder, not a client, go here. Well, that's so confusing. What a crazy story. Wholesome energy, high fiber, enjoy this alien drinking. Cool. Nice short. All right, so to see the full ad from Olipop, not a client, go here. All right, so this ad is on the bizarre side, but I like it. Enjoy this alien drinking Olipop Ridge Rush. It then cuts to an alien drinking out of the can, and then an end card. The whole thing is only 5 seconds long, but I love the idea of showing something non-human using your product. An alien, an animal, etc. To do it like this requires some serious animation skills, but you could also try using an IG or snap face filter. And this is from 2024, so maybe this is in a pre-AI age as well. So, thinking about like the vlogging Yeti. All right, so we're definitely getting into that territory. All right, so then we say, what's Biddyco again? We do all this kind of stuff. If you want to work with me, book a call. If you're a UGC creator, you can apply here for a private creator network. Nice, tight. Now, the one thing I would do here, if this were me, is I would create a template here, and I would put this week's ad in some sort of a container here, because right now the flow of this is awkward. It goes, hey, David, I just dropped my daughter off at her first day of preschool. This ad is on the bizarre side, but I like it. Enjoy it. Okay, so that actually, it's still kind of an awkward flow. But this part in the middle has obviously shows a cool ad. You can click through and watch the full thing here. It talks about the good parts of it. So I really like that. Some simple formatting, and the subject line, add aliens. I just dropped my daughter off at preschool. Okay, so first line, what would I change? I would say, I just dropped my daughter off at her first day of preschool and saw my favorite ad I've seen in a long time. That's really, really simple. And then you can go and say, this ad is on the bizarre side, but I really like it. Enjoy this alien drinking Olipop Ridge Rush. Okay, much better. And if we just put a container here, it interrupts the flow a little bit. And we should put some sort of relevant thing in the first line that ties it in. Traditionally, I wouldn't start off with this, but he's got, I would actually start off with something related to aliens. I think because the picture is going to have an alien here, he can be forgiven, and he can just lean on his personal brand and say like, all right, I'm Ben. Hi, it's me. Let's talk, right? So some simple things we can do to improve there, but a really solid subject line. You see how often a good subject line is just like relevant to anyone. It feels almost clickbaity, but then you actually get inside and you're like, wait a minute. This isn't even clickbait. It's just a legitimate thing about a cool topic, which is why it's so important to pick something that has a good topic, right? Alrighty. Get the perfect video set up from On Screen Authority. So this is talking about how to kind of do a cool video backdrop and look good on screen, right? Before, after. So that's a great use of a GIF. Wow, so good for like proof, right? Wow, awesome. Okay, so we're gonna start on get the perfect video set up. First line, David, I know you want to look amazing on camera and you've already set up your studio. Okay, sorry. David, I know you want to look amazing on camera and you're ready to set up your studio, but maybe you just don't want to do it alone. You want a private line to ask questions to be certain everything is perfect, no guesswork. That's why I'm opening our On-Screen Authority VIP program. My team of experts will take you through every step of the process to make sure you look and sound great every time you hit record. And if you have any questions, we've got you covered in our own private Slack channel. Imagine a custom designed home studio effortlessly brought to life, tailored just for you. Dive into the details in a 2-minute video and let's fast track your dream studio. Then we can talk privately about how we can move forward together. Let me know if you have any cues. Take care, Jason. Okay, so what did this do well? This is not very heavy on the hook story offer. It doesn't really have a problem, agitate, solve. It just opens up with a clear value proposition. So let's see what this might line up with here. It's like a promise picture push. It's definitely a picture. Promise picture push. I know you want to look amazing on camera and you're ready to set up your studio. Maybe you don't want to do it alone. So very quickly, we have like kind of a promise, and then your picture, you're ready to set up your studio, I guess, and then you don't want to do it alone. So we have a problem there. You want to do this. That's why I'm doing this. Okay. Does he have a nice desire obstacle solution? Maybe. You want to do this. The obstacle is you don't want to do it alone. Yeah, exactly. So this is a desire obstacle solution. You want this. Here's what's in your way. You want to do this. It's really building it up. And then here's the solution. And we're going to actually kind of build up on that. So the really, really short ramp up. And then delivering value. My team of experts, private Slack channel. Imagine this. So now we're doing a picture. So I think you can tell I find this story a little confused, right? It doesn't have that long ramp up period that you would typically want to really move you up towards a climax. Now, why did I include that on this list of some of my favorites? Is because it does everything it needs to here, but this is doing all the work. Sometimes as a copywriter, you think, again, I have to do this with lots of words and lots of sentences, but your graphic can do so much lifting. It's really the most important part of this entire email, right? So even though this is all confused and I would structure it differently and I'd spend more time kind of ramping it up, wow, that is doing the heavy lifting. Great GIF. Consider using that. That's why we did the whole thing yesterday on how to use graphics and how to use layout to your advantage. Here's a great example of how to do that. All right. Great way to tie it all in together here at the very end. All right, so those are our examples. So before we write today, we've had now 10 long classes, like 2 to 4 hours each time. Thank you for sticking with me so far. We have a lot to remember before we start writing. So let's remember features versus benefits. Try to use as many benefits as you can. Tell a story. We don't want to fall in that trap of being like, wait, I'm building up and then I go back a little bit. And no, don't do all that. Make sure that you're kind of moving along one solid thing. You don't follow any detours, and then you can strike when the iron is hot at the moment of greatest tension. Simple. Write it simple. Don't make it overly complicated. Don't use words you don't need to. Don't use a line that doesn't move people forward in the story. Keep it short, keep it simple, keep it tight, and defeat your enemy in battle with your 4 new warships in record time. Examples. Use metaphors and enthymemes. Use GIFs. Use images. Whatever it might be that can do the heavy lifting of words for you so there's not that much reading and yet people get the point faster. Or tell a story. Or say, it's like the Spanish-American War, which was over in 10 weeks. No one died. Not that many people had to die because of this, or whatever point you want to make to actually tie it in. Ethos, make people like you. Don't be the pushy sales guy who burns your bridges on the first day. Actually deliver value, but also tell stories that make you likable, that endear you to your audience so that you're being effective, right? Be yourself. Use one of the 6 copywriters, the copywriting characters to start from Mr. Malachi Walsh. Combine them, mix and match them, find something that's uniquely you, and then do that. Eventually, you might have to kind of learn how to ghostwrite for other people, but at first, when you're learning to write, just write as yourself. Editing, the ROYA, that's the rule of one reader, one call to action, one interest, right? Keep it nice and tight. Don't get distracted. Don't have 15 different things you're trying to do. We have swappy, which is so what and prove it, and then cub, which is cut out anything that's not necessary. Cut ruthlessly to get to that really tight 12-line or less email that's yet super powerful. And then finally, research. Before you start writing, use your Rizzler research to write charismatically. So I don't know, if someone approached you and said, I know you normally write landing pages, but can you write us emails about a type of food that you never eat? You go, man, I have to figure out what people like about peanut brittle. Do your research. It's a real world example of me having to do research so that I could write charismatically to a different audience. Maybe intuitively you might know, hey, this is an older demographic, typically Southern, that's going to like this food. They might even call it pralines, right? Great way to do that so that you can write more powerfully to those people. All right. So we're going to have 4 things we're going to write for you today that are all live practice. We're going to talk about some things that I read in books. I think they might have both been from The Art of Plain Talk. Certainly George Washington Could Have Had a Jeep is from The Art of Plain Talk. The Pilgrims of the Mayflower. I wonder if my Google Doc actually brings up where it was from. Nope, I don't know where I got this from. I think it might have been from The Art of Plain Talk. Professor Briggs, The Mayflower. All right. Yeah, I think it was definitely from books that I read, and I was like, oh man, that line, weirdly enough, used somewhere else for another reason, is just a killer opener for a short email. And so that these 2 lines were an inspiration for that, right? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go through and see how it works and actually connect it to something randomly, right? The Pilgrims landed on November 11th, 1620 from a ship called the Mayflower. Who were the Pilgrims and why did they come to America? Were they adventurers, conquerors, gold seekers? No, they were not. A few of those on the Mayflower came on the chance of getting land and farms of their own, but most came for another reason. They came because they worshipped God in their own way, a simple and faithful way, but not the way of the established church of of England of their time. Okay, that's powerful. I like that because we had this like strong story where they were this, but they came over for this reason. But this feels like I could use it to promote something, right? And the thing that's really getting me is like, oh, they weren't. They were like this. And I'm like, oh, whatever qualities I want to highlight here are something I can connect to my product. So here's where we're going to have some fun. And I don't know how much I've used this so far. I personally love Dungeons and Dragons. And I have dice that I'm going to use, but you could go into ChatGPT and say, give me a random number out of 100. I'm going to use dice. And I'm going to roll to figure out what I will be promoting today. All right, I got a 29. So today I'm going to be promoting Skydrop Logistics. Okay. I think I have some more information about that down here. 29. All right. So what does Skydrop Logistics do? They offer autonomous drone delivery for e-commerce, medical supplies, and food services, ensuring fast and eco-friendly last mile delivery. So this is going to show up to your house or your business. The unique selling proposition is that they utilize smart route optimization and an AI-powered system that calculates the most efficient delivery routes in real time, reducing delays and carbon footprints. Okay. So, what do I like here about this? The Pilgrims landed on November 11th, 1620 from a ship called the Mayflower. Who were the Pilgrims and why did they come to America? That line is not necessary. That's not doing anything, but I might add a little bit in somewhere. So I'm going to say, who were the Pilgrims? Were they adventurers, conquerors, or gold seekers? No, they were not. And now I'm going to lead in. Who were the Pilgrims? The Pilgrims landed on November 11th, 1620 from a ship called the Mayflower. Who were these? The way I would say this too is I would say, and who were these Pilgrims? Were they adventurers, conquerors, gold seekers? No, they weren't. They weren't. That's still not how I'd talk. Were they adventurers, conquerors, gold seekers? No, they weren't. Like you. So now we got to connect it here. We got to go drone delivery. So we're clearly doing like a hook story offer here. Maybe we want to make that more hooky. And it's going to have to turn into an email. So we're going to need to be able... I'm really pushing the limit here because this is not how you typically write an email, obviously. But I was like, oh, what a great pivot point here. So I was really inspired by this pivot point. Just make sure, in fact, that I'm still recording. Okay. The Pilgrims landed on November 11th, 1620. Mayflower. Who were these Pilgrims? Were they adventurers, conquerors, gold seekers? No, they weren't. Like you. So I want fast delivery. I could be writing to people who do medical supplies. So they want fast delivery. quality delivery on time. They want, I don't know, that seems good. For e-commerce, you want a good customer satisfaction. Food services. Again, customer satisfaction. Highest quality, you want it fresh. I might be able to do something with that. Autonomous drone delivery. So what are some qualities of autonomous drone delivery? It's like, okay, you want it done right the first time. That's not bad. You want it done right the first time. You want it done right fast. You need to be fast. Don't starve. Angle, I guess. I think you want it done right. So we're gonna appeal to maybe problems with other delivery systems. Focus on promptness, quality, etc. Compare and contrast. So that's what we're doing now. So let's say there's a Thanksgiving email. Happy Thanksgiving. Every Thanksgiving, I'm reminded of the Pilgrims. Somehow I butchered the spelling of Thanksgiving. I'm reminded of the Pilgrims. Who every year, every Thanksgiving, I'm reminded of the Pilgrims. It's like I need one more thing in here. They get a bad rap these days. Okay. Happy Thanksgiving. I'm reminded, subject line, body. Happy Thanksgiving, body. Every Thanksgiving, I'm reminded of the Pilgrims. They get a bad rap these days. Were they adventurers, conquerors, gold seekers? People think of them as adventurers, conquerors, gold seekers. But that's not the full story. Like you, they were in search of a better life. They took a look at the church of the day and were unsatisfied, so they built something better. I feel like I need one more build up line, and then I need to say, just like us, we were unsatisfied with the late deliveries, the damaged packages, the damaged boxes, the What I'm trying to say here is like things that go bad just waiting on the porch. The rotting food in packages just sitting around. All right, that's poorly written. One thing you'll see me do that I highly recommend is don't just sit on it, right? You can always be like, that's not working. Ugh. Write something that's not working and then just keep going. Don't get bogged down. You can always come back and fix it, but it's hard to not just sit down and get bogged down. You want to be able to crank out a first draft of something like this, honestly, in 10 minutes. All right. Just like us, we're unsatisfied with the late deliveries, the damaged boxes, the rotting food in packages just sitting around, or spoiled med equipment. They came for their own reason, but most came for another reason. Yeah, that's a much better line, and it's less grovelly than that's not the full story. But most came for another reason. Like you, they're in search of a better life. They took a look at the church of the day. They're unsatisfied, so they built something better. When it came to their souls, they were unwilling to follow a corrupt church. They were unwilling to so they built something better. They took a look at the church of the day. Like you, they're in search of a better life. They recognize the hypocrisy, they recognize the failures of the Church of England and weren't willing to risk their souls. I want to say salvation there, but talking about writing simply using smaller words. Souls is going to be shorter and more powerful than salvation. They weren't willing to risk their souls. They recognized the failures of the Church of England. Yeah, I'm gonna fall back on my ellipses. They recognize the failures of that. Now, why am I doing this? Because I have they. Like you, they were in search of a better life. They recognized the failures of the Church of England. They were unwilling to follow a corrupt church. ... So they built something better, just like us. We were unsatisfied with the late deliveries, the damaged boxes, the rotting food in packages just sitting around, spoiled med equipment, whatever I'm going to say there. So now a really quick pitch for what we're doing, and then we're going to send them to our video. Every Thanksgiving, I'm reminded of the Pilgrims. They get a bad rap these days. People think of them as adventurers, conquerors, gold seekers, but most came for another reason. Like you, they were in search of a better life. They recognized the failures of the Church of England. They were unwilling to follow a corrupt church, so they built something better. Just like us, we were unsatisfied with the late deliveries, the damaged boxes, the rotting food and packages just sitting around. So we used AI-powered drones to we built something better. See how we are using drones and AI to change last mile delivery forever, but I want to personalize that. Okay, so now we have our parts that we need to focus on. So that last line kind of sucks. But what do we have here? What do we have? I don't know. Hypothetically, watch the video. Hypothetically, I don't know, maybe exactly 12 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right, so you can see I kind of cheated that a little bit because here, they are 3 lines. In here we have, just like us, we were unsatisfied with this. So we built something better. Okay, so maybe it's getting a little bit longer, but then we have lines that are like, this could have also just been 1 line. So we can do it different ways. We can space it out. Let's smooth out the edges here, right? Happy Thanksgiving. Every Thanksgiving, I'm reminded the pilgrims, they get a bad rap these days. People think of them as adventurers, conquerors, gold seekers, but most came for another reason. Like you, they were in search of a better life. Okay, so I kind of got a light whiff of me here in number 5. I wish I could move it up a little bit, but I don't think I can. Every Thanksgiving, I'm reminded of the pilgrims. They get a bad rap these days. Unless I do every Thanksgiving, I'm reminded of the pilgrims who get a bad rap these days. I could do that, but that's going to make my first line really long, and generally, you don't want a long first sentence, right? I'm trying to think if I want like a really short, like, oof. I don't think it feels natural here. Happy Thanksgiving. Every Thanksgiving, I'm reminded of the pilgrims. They get a bad rap these days. People think of them as adventurers, conquerors, gold seekers, but most came for another reason. Like you, they were in search of a better life. They recognized the failures of the Church of England. They were unwilling to follow a corrupt church, so they built something better. Just like us. We were unsatisfied. We were unsatisfied with the late deliveries, the damaged boxes, the rotting food and packages just sitting around. So we built something better. See how we're using AI, using drones and AI to change last mile delivery forever. So I want to personalize that. All right, we've got our 2 things that we need to fix. Change last mile delivery forever. Okay. How we are using, we're going to change that to use. See how we use drones and AI. AI powered drones. Not powdered, powered. Ooh. To revolutionize your package. Deliver your package on time. To never screw up a delivery again. To perfect your delivery. Nail your delivery every time. See how we use AI-powered drones to nail your delivery every time. And I want to tie that back more to the original thing. So we built something better, right? They came for another reason. They're searching for a better life. To nail your delivery, to build something better. So see how we use AI-powered drones to build a better delivery, to Build a better delivery system. So now I'm wrestling between nail your delivery is a more concrete benefit, but it doesn't connect as well back to this metaphor that I'm doing, which is building something better. Can I just get rid of this line? Sorry, people think of them as adventurers, conquerors, gold seekers. But they were in search of a better life. But really, they were in search of a better life. Yeah, let's shorten that. But really, they were in search of a better life. They recognized the failures of the Church of England. They were unwilling to follow a corrupt church, so they built something better, just like us. We were unsatisfied with the late deliveries, the damaged boxes, the supplies, ruining in the elements, in the sun, in the wind, in the rain. Gotta be a better way of saying that. And I want to move that all up, right? It all has to go up. There are late deliveries, damaged boxes, broken stuff, ruined stuff, the ruined supplies. The ruined product. The ruined products. We're unsatisfied. We weren't, did I say satisfied up here? They recognized the failures of the Church of England. They were unwilling to follow a corrupt church, so they built something better. Just like us. They were, because I used to say unsatisfied. We refused to live with the late deliveries, the damaged boxes, the ruined products. So we built something better. See how we use AI-powered drones to nail your delivery every time. That's good. Nice, tight. It uses that Mayflower and Pilgrim's connection and leads into the next thing. Cool. I like that. Again, I would typically come back the next day and write it a little bit better, but it is what it is. All right. So now we have to do George Washington. Could have had a Jeep. What are we promoting? 69. Rocket Fest Jam Outdoor Rock Festival. That does not fit with what I had in mind. But okay, all right. 69. Cool. Ta-da. All right. Outdoor rock festival featuring top rock and metal bands, emerging artists, and high energy performances in a festival setting. Unique selling proposition: they bring louder, wilder, unforgettable, curating epic lineups and electrifying stage setups that make for the ultimate live rock experience. Okay. So, why? Okay. All right, so here's the George Washington thing, and I actually have it. I actually bookmarked it here in The Art of Plain Talk. But The Art of Plain Talk, I have it bookmarked here on page 157. Yes, I dog-ear my books because I have a relationship with books. This is my book. I will never sell it. And not only do I bookmark it, but I leave notes in pen in there, so I can come back and actually have a relationship and say, oh, good, funny email material, triple star. Would you look at that? Literally exactly what I thought when I read it. All right. Here's a third one, right? All right, so it says, George Washington could have had a Jeep, and all bold. It starts with a picture of George Washington in a Jeep, and it says, all the raw materials needed to build a Jeep were obtainable in George Washington's time. Only the knowledge of how to obtain them, refine them, and fabricate them into such a vehicle was lacking. At Alcoa, we call this important ingredient Imagineering. That's our handy word for letting imagination soar and then engineering it down to practical use. Okay, so that's for something called Alcoa. It's some sort of product development that they're doing, and they're imagineering things. Okay. So we're going to start with those two first lines because they have their own transition there. That's what we call imagineering. That's our handy word for letting imagination soar and then engineering it down to practical use. So we're starting off with that. All the raw materials needed to build a Jeep were obtainable in George Washington's time. I do not mean to be stealing from Alcoa. My entire goal here, and I should sit up, my entire goal here, am I even a little bit framed properly? Yeah, let me sit up just a tad higher. Just a tooch, huh? My entire goal here is just to show how you can do a very similar transition, right? So I'm going to go back in. George Washington could have had a Jeep. That's our subject line. It's a killer subject line. And it's also interesting because you can see how something that might have worked in a magazine or in direct mail once upon a time, the same lessons can be learned for something that's a bit more modern. All the raw materials needed to build the Jeep. I'm going to keep that there. George Washington could have had a Jeep. All the raw materials needed to build a Jeep were obtainable in George Washington's time. Only the knowledge of how to obtain them, refine them, and fabricate them into such a vehicle were lacking. And somehow we need to connect that to the outdoor rock festival. Oh, totally. All right. So obviously this is dependent on there being a Jeep giveaway for this rock festival. But let's say that the rock festival is giving away a 2025 Jeep Wrangler. I assume they're still making Jeep Wranglers, like new ones. Yeah, it's got to be. Yeah, it's their bestseller, I'm sure. Okay, so one lucky attendant is getting a 2025 Jeep Wrangler. Okay, so something just to briefly take us away from copywriting for short emails that's been on my mind because I've been thinking about the course that I want to put together for people who aren't trying to be contractors, who are trying to do this for companies, but people who own their own companies. Or if you're a copywriter, you've been doing this a while, like I have, and you get brought into companies and you say like, okay, because you understand consumer psychology and everything, we want you to design this front to back. What does the product look like? What does the whole offer look like? And you create these total experiences, right? So you say, all right, we have this rock festival and the whole theme is rock, right? It's going to be rock and roll. We're going to do like a geode fest. So you're going to have all sorts of like rocks and crystals and stuff. And we have a rock crawler or Jeep Wrangler for like off-roading kind of a thing. So that's our rock festival. And we're literally just going to call it the rock festival. I'm getting rock fest. Sure, we can just call it rock fest. That's fine. So I'm modifying that just a little bit. So it's going to be rock music, rock crawling, and rocks and geodes, maybe? Yeah. Okay, so that's our rock fest. So this is offer creation, right? And so you're like, all right, what would be super cool here is if we were giving away Jeep Wrangler. So giveaway, we're giving away Jeep Wrangler, a birthstone ring, and a signed electric guitar. Cool. So we get one thing from each area. We're doing a giveaway, kind of like a small, medium, large, for people who are in attendance. Everyone might care about these things. Hey, now we have a cool offer that we can roughly connect to George Washington. Could have had a Jeep. Now, if you're just hired to promote this concert, you couldn't do that, right? But again, if you do this long enough, eventually people are going to be like, oh, you can kind of reverse engineer this. You can make this into something that's really exciting. So not only am I a copywriter, not only do I make landing pages, but somehow I have what it takes to make cool outdoor festivals? Question mark? All right, back into it. George Washington could have had a Jeep. So this is something I didn't do last time, and I think is worth just kind of reviewing here. So both of these are leaning very heavily into a hook story offer. You could also call it an ADA, which I don't have off here to the side. I'm sure I have an ADA in the previous days. It's copywriting characters. Give me ADA, give me ADA. There we go. Attention, interest, desire, action. Pretty much anything's going to fall into that category. That's so broad. It's not really problem, agitate, solve. Not really desire, obstacle, solution. Yeah. So it's somewhere like disrupt, intrigue, click. An attention, interest, desire, action, which is just a different version of the dick email, or a hook, story, offer. Because this isn't going to be a story based. It has the hook is a story, but it's much more like just a basic disrupt, intrigue, click / ADA email. Okay, so that's the general format we're going to go off of. So we say attention. George Washington could have had a Jeep. Interest, those first 2 lines that we're leading in. Then we're going to have to build desire and action. Okay, so let's head back. This is our A, right? That's our attention. Our interest is all the raw materials needed to build a Jeep were obtainable in George Washington's time. Only the knowledge of how to obtain them, refine them, and fabricate them into such a vehicle was lacked. So desire. So this is so we're doing George Washington, right? So back to the offer. This is going to be patriotic, because of George Washington, and we picked the least controversial founding father, and maybe not founding father, but I mean, like, as far as presidents go, almost everyone likes George Washington. It probably helps that he didn't have a party, but you know, it is what it is. It's like George Washington and oh my God, all I can think is Thomas Jefferson. My good Abraham Lincoln. Those are the 2 most popular presidents. All right, Teddy Roosevelt is also pretty popular. George Washington could have had a Jeep. All the raw materials needed were here. So now we have to go into the desire section. So we have to get to this year we have rocks. We're giving away a 2025 Jeep Wrangler. You don't even need to know how to obtain and fabricate one. We're giving one away to one lucky winner, plus a signed electric guitar and a ring or necklace with your birthstone on it. It's all a part of the 2025 Rock Fest, our outdoor rock festival. Rock music, rock crawling, rocks and geodes. Get your tickets starting at just $12. No, it's free entry. Free entry. Free entry with a purchase of one or more raffle tickets. A raffle ticket's going to be $5 a piece. Great. Okay, so you get more entries the more you do it. All right, so I think you see that's desire. We're doing all these things, and then action. This year we have rocks. I think that's pretty cool. Featuring higher energy performances. Okay. So all my information is now in there. Get, so let's say they're $10 at the door, but you can get them for $7 a piece. No. Okay. So the language of this needs some help, but again, attention, interest, desire, action. I know I'm going to want to bullet that out just so it's a little bit easier to kind of process exactly what's happening there. All right. So now we see how that's an ADA, how we can do this in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 lines. That's how it almost always goes, is like right around that point. Pre-order your raffle tickets. All right. So now we've got the general structure of this here, and we need to go through and kind of make this sound nicer because we did it rough, right? We just flew through. Did I even start this? Yeah, I did. We just flew through. Again, this is how I recommend doing it. This is basically an outline at this point. I recommend moving fast, getting through it. Don't slow down when you don't know how to say a word or whatever. Just fly through and come back and correct later. This is probably not quite at the point where I would walk away for a day. I go through, do a pass, work on the words, and then I come back a day later. But it's not how we're going to do it. So George Washington could have had a Jeep. And I'm going to say this a little bit differently because it's a little bit older and it's not my style. So George Washington could have had a Jeep. All the raw materials needed to build a Jeep were obtainable. That's a long Latin word. We'd replace that. Only the knowledge of how to obtain them, refine them, and fabricate them into such a vehicle was lacking. There's a lot of words there. We can say it in less words. We can use smaller words. So, and we just need to move into that. We're giving away a 2025 Jeep Wrangler. But I like George Washington could have had a Jeep. All of the raw materials were there, but he didn't. But no one knew how to assemble them into a Jeep from them, right? So now we said that 2 lines in a single one. George Washington could have had a Jeep. All the raw materials were there, but no one knew how to assemble a Jeep from them. That's a little clunkier than I want it to be. I want there to be less words there, but again, I'm going to keep moving. George Washington could have had a Jeep. All the raw materials were there, but no one knew how to assemble a Jeep from them. By the way, I talk through as I'm writing. This helps me kind of feel like what's actually natural. How do people talk? I'm not going to say it that way. I said too many words. I tripped over it a little bit while I was talking. If I'm doing that, something about the copy needs to be changed. So, sorry, I keep restarting. George Washington could have had a Jeep. All the raw materials were there, but no one knew how to assemble a Jeep from them. But now, you probably don't know how to either, and yet a brand new 2025 Jeep Wrangler could be yours. So I combined those. You don't even need to know how to fabricate one. These are getting a little longer. So again, we'll come back to those and maybe chop up those lines a little bit. George Washington could have had a Jeep. All the raw materials were there, but no one knew how to assemble, how to build, how to make. No one knew, but no one knew. No one could. Knew how to becomes could. But no one could make a Jeep from them. See? 4 words replace, right? 4? Knew how to. 3 words. No one could make a Jeep from them. You probably don't know how to either, and yet a brand new 2025 Jeep Wrangler could be yours. We're we're giving one away to one lucky festival attendee. I don't want to mention that it's a raffle yet because that pitch is happening at the end. That would be way too early to introduce it. It sounds like, hey, you get to come for this festival. I just got an ad, by the way, talking about offer building, and I'm going to the movie. It's for a movie called Sketch. It's by Angel Studios, and Angel Studios basically like pre-launches movies. You say like, oh, I'm interested in that, and then they can go to all these theaters and say, I have 1,000 people in your area who are interested in watching this movie. They've already pre-ordered tickets. Go ahead and show it for this many time slots and everything. And then that allows them to compete with much bigger studios because they can pre-launch everything. So anyways, they started coming out with social media ads, and I'm going to include this in my course for business owners and stuff who want to figure out how to do this themselves. Really focusing more on the offer creation side of things and a little bit on the copy because that obviously plays into the consumer psychology. So anyways, part of their offer stack is like, hey, not only do you get to go to a movie you get 2 tickets for $15, so it's kind of like a forced date night, or you can buy bigger packages for less. Not only that, but hey, we're in an age of AI, we're using VFX, which is like 5 years ago, you were like, why are they not special effects? But now we're super excited that a human got on the computer and made stuff. And also you could get to meet Freddie Wong, a director. I think Freddie Wong's a director. American filmmaker, yeah. VFX artist, podcaster, competitive gamer. Video game high school. Oh yeah, cool. All right, so anyways, that's Freddie Wong. I think I've seen YouTube stuff from him. I think I do. Oh yeah, Video Game High School, 100%. Yeah, I remember that. So anyways, it's Freddie Wong. He's like the main spokesperson for this, and he comes on and he's like, you're gonna get when you sign up and you get these tickets, you're also gonna be entered to like come to LA to meet me and get trained and maybe get lights and cameras and editing computer and all sorts of stuff like that. So that's all part of this whole offer that they've created, right? And it's kind of a giveaway, kind of a raffle, but you're also kind of buying tickets. It's a very cool setup. That's a great way to make a full offer stack, which is what we're doing here, right? So I just have that on my mind as I'm making this here, trying to do something similar. George Washington could have had a Jeep. All the raw materials were there, but no one could make a Jeep from them. You probably don't know how to either. And yet, a brand new 2025 Jeep Wrangler could be yours. We're giving one away to one lucky festival attendee. We're not pitching the raffle yet. Plus a signed electric guitar and a ring or necklace with your birthstone on it. So like now we're explaining how that all works together. This is all part of our desire build. It's all part of our 2025 Rock Fest. It's all a part of the 2025 Rock Fest, our outdoor rock festival. Our outdoor rock festival. That pitch could be better. It's all a part of 2025 Rock Fest. It's all a part of 2025 Rockfest. We're going to just go short. Louder, wilder, unforgettable. We have great food, delicious, have over 30 delicious food vendors. You say like, I don't know how many people go to a rock festival. 28 electrifying headline artists. We have over 30 delicious food vendors, 28 electrifying headline artists, and hundreds of the best new off-road vehicles. If you think, all right, at Rockfest if you think it rocks, so do we. We have rock music featuring top rock and metal bands, emerging artists, and higher energy performers in a festival setting. It's a little wordy. Rock crawling. Um, 28 electrifying headline artists. Over 2 days. Over $2.7 million worth of beautiful rocks. All right. So this next section's getting a little wordy here. At Rockfest, if you think it rocks, so do we. We have, it's so awkward, but I wish I could just end it so do we and do the colon. But if I end here and I don't say we have, then grammatically I'd be like, we have rock music, and then I don't want to say we have there. I just want to start off with rock music. I want to make that bold. 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 Right? So you can see rock, rock, rock. So do we. We have and even better, entry is free with a purchase of one or more raffle tickets. And normally tickets are $10 at the door, but you can, when you order them online, you get them for just $7. Okay, it's a little long. I want to force that on one line if I can. And I don't like that I say two ands next to each other. So those are the parts that I have to work on here really fast. See my total lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Pre-order your raffle tickets. Not bad. Not bad. George Washington could have had a Jeep. I'm going to save a line here. No, I like that nice short one. George Washington could have had a Jeep. All the raw materials were there, but no one could make a Jeep from them. You probably don't know how to either, and yet a brand new 2025 Jeep Wrangler could be yours. We're giving one away to one lucky, there's too many ones there, to a lucky, we're giving one away to a lucky festival attendee, plus a signed electric guitar and a ring or necklace with your birthstone on it. I'm questioning if I want to say a piece of jewelry. And a ring or necklace with your birthstone on it. It's all a part of 2025 Rockfest. We have over 30 delicious food vendors, 28 electrifying headline artists, and hundreds of the best new off-road vehicles. At Rockfest, if you think it rocks, so do we. We have rock music featuring top rock and top and emerging metal bands. Is there anything I can say? Yeah, let me use ChatGPT. ChatGPT. I have a rock festival with rocks, with rock and roll, rocks and geodes, and rock crawling vehicles. In my promo materials, I want to advertise our 30 food vendors and tie it into the rock theme. Give me words that match the rock theme that are related to food and food trucks. Which I'm just like stuck there. I can't have any words. One of my favorite uses for ChatGPT that I'm like unapologetic about is basically a thesaurus, because I could have never searched for that, right? And yet here it is. If it bite to the beat, grub that rocks, food that rolls, yeah. Rock your taste buds. Yeah, it just doesn't quite work. Featuring top and emerging metal bands, rock crawling, with 3 off-road trails and I don't know how rock crawling has, featuring 28 top and emerging metal bands over 2 days at our 2-day event. We have over 30 different delicious food vendors, 28 and hundreds of the best new off-road vehicles. At Rockfest, if you think it rocks, so do we. We have rock music featuring 28, let's get rid of the number, featuring top and emerging metal bands. Keep it short. Rock crawling with 3 off-road trails and hundreds of, I want to say sick, but sick is so lame. I don't know if that's the move. Of hundreds of, how would this audience describe nice off-road vehicles? Word choice. Cool, sick, awesome, rad. Badass is pretty good. West Coast off-road vibe. Gnarly's not bad. Of badass crawlers. Yeah, I like that. With 3 off-road trails and hundreds of badass crawlers. Rocks and geodes. Okay. How would this audience talk about rocks, geodes, crystals? Crazy cool, maybe. I kind of like that. Boulder bling is also interesting. Featuring top and emerging metal bands, rock crawling with 3 off-road trails, and hundreds of badass crawlers. Out some boulder bling. With over $2.7 million in, oh my gosh, cool, crazy cool geodes. Yeah, I forced that on the second line. Okay. How they talk about rock music. Yeah. So now I'm going with those 5 cents words, right? That Dan Kennedy always talks about. I'm really trying to lean into this here. Hits you in the chest. Old school vibe. Yeah, I'm loving that. Yeah, 28 face melting bands that get the blood pumping. Featuring 28 face melting performances that get the blood pumping. Rock crawling with 3 off-road trails and hundreds of badass crawlers, rocks and geodes. Featuring with having, getting. All right, yeah. Including showcasing, loaded with boasting, home to, joined by, back. Loaded with. I like loaded. Loaded with. Featuring, yeah, that's cool. Yeah. If you want to rock out, we have great news. Entry is free with the purchase of 1 or more things. And only, okay, got it, cool. I think it's pretty good. Subject line, George Washington could have had a Jeep. Body, George Washington could have had a Jeep. All the raw materials were there, but no one could make a Jeep from them. You probably don't know how to either, and yet a brand new 2025 Jeep Wrangler could be yours. All right. That's our WIFM. That's our what's in it for me on line 3, right? George Washington could have had a Jeep. All the raw materials were there, but no one could make a Jeep from them. You probably don't know how to either. And yet a brand new 2025 Jeep Wrangler could be yours. We're giving one away to a lucky festival attendee, plus a signed electric guitar and a ring or a necklace with your birthstone on it. Let's see if, so here's an example of something I would do the next day. Using that language, review and give suggestions for word changes in these 3 lines. Where rocks, rigs, and riffs collide. That's interesting. Kind of like the alliteration. I like it's all a part of 2025 Rockfest. The real ones were the... Why'd you only focus on that? Oh, did it? What? Oh, my bad. My bad. We're giving it all away: a signed electric guitar, a custom birthstone ring or necklace, and a ton of other epic prizes. The problem is they're all going to different people, right? We're giving it all away though as a solid start. We're giving it all away. Yeah, okay. No. Keep going for it. All right, so I like this because it allows me to kind of mix it up a little bit. We're giving one away to a lucky festival attendee plus, where's some of their suggestions, plus a ton of other epic prizes. Plus a ton of other epic prizes. Signed. Did they already break it out? Nah, they didn't. Like a custom birthstone ring or necklace and a signed electric guitar. A signed electric, like a signed electric guitar from Johnny Apple, because I don't really know. So there's a good example. Who would be a cool person to sign the guitar for this crowd? Yeah, I mean, of course. Yeah, maybe we'll go Gibbons. Like a signed electric guitar from... What? Is that even a little bit like... Okay, yeah, sure. Last minute. Billy Gibbons. From Billy Gibbons. And a ring or necklace with your birthstone on it. It's all part of 2025 Rockfest. At our 2-day event, we have over 30 delicious vendors, 28 electrifying headline artists, and hundreds of off-road vehicles. At Rockfest, if you think it rocks, so do we. We have rock music featuring 28 of the... Okay, so I feel like this and this are doing something very similar. So I think I'm already comfortable with that. So I'm going to leave out the food vendors. Food vendors are cool, but it's not kind of related to this whole rock theme. George Washington could have had a Jeep. All the raw materials were there, but no one could make a Jeep from them. You probably don't know how to either, and yet a brand new 2025 Jeep Wrangler could be yours. We're giving one away to a lucky festival attendee, plus a ton of other epic prizes like a signed electric guitar from Billy Gibbons and a ring or necklace with your birthstone on it. It's all a part of our 2025 Rockfest. At Rockfest, if you think it rocks, so do we. We have rock music featuring 28 face-melting performances that get the blood pumping, rock crawling with 3 off-road trails and hundreds of badass crawlers, rocks and geodes loaded with over $2.7 million in crazy cool geodes. If you want to rock out, we have great news. So, if you want to rock out, we have great news. Entry is free with the purchase of 1 or more raffle tickets. I would make that blue. Nope, not what I meant. I would make that blue. So that's linked. And then we're going to have that bit is a button. Ta-da. See? There we go. Entry is free with the purchase of 1 or more raffle tickets, and normally tickets are $10 at the door, but when you order them online, you get them for just $7 pre-order your raffle tickets. That's a sick email. Good one. So you can see how we can use kind of these weird hook-ins, right? So I've been praising so far. Cool, I don't know how long I haven't been recording, but my apologies. You can see how we're able to take these kind of interesting niche starts, like talking about the Pilgrims and the Mayflower, or George Washington having a Jeep, and actually turning it into something that's interesting, right? And that connects with our product. And they were just products that I randomly rolled on some dice, right? So if you have something kind of interesting that you see in the news, or that comes up on your Facebook feed or whatever, you're like, I can totally turn that into an email, and you already have a client, awesome, good for you. You can just go with it, right? All right, so here's our other one. Our other things, and these are going to be, I think, the same ones that you're doing this week, right? So I just did the Pilgrims of the Mayflower. George Washington could have had a Jeep. Again, The Art of Plain Talk. I recommend this as a book. I'd say this is top 5, honestly. In some ways, this is going to be a little repetitive, but you can see all my different bookmarks in there, all my dog ears. if I have that many dog years in it, it's worth reading. Basically, the point of this is going to teach you how to write smaller, think smaller, and I've given you a lot of that outlined here, hopefully simpler than you've seen it before. But if you want to dive deep and learn how to talk like a regular person, which Claude Hopkins and Dan Kennedy both attribute to being massive, massive influences for their ability to sell, I highly recommend picking up The Art of Plain Talk, where I heard of George Washington could have had a Jeep. But anyways, 2 other things that you're going to do today that I'm also going to do now, because your homework is going to have the I have a dream rhetorical style. And what I mean by that is that, like, I have a dream, I have a dream, I have a dream, so the group of 3 start with a short phrase that's really impactful, right? So we want to use that. Maybe we'll even use the I have a dream part, right? So like we did for Thanksgiving, where we're kind of pulling into the Thanksgiving and Pilgrim vibe. Let's say it's MLK Day and you want to somehow artfully connect this to Martin Luther King, right? Touchy subject, so we're gonna try and do it in a way that doesn't feel like we're just trying to make a buck. So that means we're probably not going to make a sale this day. We're just going to be providing information. That's a safe way to not make it seem like I have a dream that you would buy my backpack or buy my raffle tickets, right? That's distasteful. So let's not do that. And then do a book or a movie quote. Use a famous line from a book or movie to inspire your subject line or opening line. 1,000 ships, 50,000 men, whatever it might be from a book or movie. All right, so that's, by the way, opening lines from the Iliad, right? Cool. All right, so let's jump in. What do I want to do? So that's going to be my angle. So what's the quote? I mean, will this just do this? Pull quotes from the Iliad is a single L from the Iliad about 1,000 ships and 50,000 men. It's like, Helena launched 1,000 ships. Not direct quotes from the Iliad. Yeah, that seems right. The face that launched 1,000 ships. Yeah, 100%. Line is not from Homer, but from Christopher Marlowe in Dr. Faustus, right? Was this the face that launched 1,000 ships and burnt the topless towers of Ilium? Yeah, so many ships, man. Uh-huh. The face that launched 1,000 ships. So that's going to be my phrase that I'm somehow going to use here. In my subject, line, and body. Okay, so subject line is going to be the face that launched 1,000 ships. How I'm going to connect that, I have no idea. So I have a dream, so I'm going to say I have a dream, right? And we're going to get them to, oh, look, I already handled the fact that this would be touchy. So instead of rolling, we're going to say convinces political email subscribers to donate to a cause or a party. You know what? At the time that I'm recording this is right after a lot of flooding in Texas. I'm sure you're familiar with this, that like 100 people died because we had a lot of rain and some rivers rose. I'm really close to the San Gabriel, which is not quite as deadly, but the flooding was really bad. So we're going to go flood relief. From I have a dream to flood relief is a hard one, man. Man, is that even going to work? I don't know about that. Let me mess with this a little bit. So I might roll a couple of times because this is like a touchier subject. I don't think it's smart to just like pick anything here. So let's go industry. 74 spice kits. No, we're not selling spice kits. I don't know if any of these are really going to work. 50 Strider footwear. 22. Let me just read through these, man. This is a much harder one. Maybe I just need a different political cause other than flood relief. Inner city education. That's fair. So I might even recommend you do something like that. Something about education, or maybe like a big brother, big sister program, or some sort of like charitable thing that feels kind of connected to issues of race and, class and things like that. So if that feels, if you can think of something along those lines for your own homework, I think that would be wise, right? So what's the name of my inner city education thing? Name ideas for inner city education charity. Sure. Elevated inner city education. Donate 20 bucks. Thanks. Cool. So that's going to be my pitch there. I don't think that feels too crazy. Subject, body, I have a dream, I have a dream, I have a dream. I don't donate. Okay. Use a famous line, the face that launched 1,000 ships. And what am I promoting there? That's going to be a hard one. All right. Gimme. 36. Kombucha. What? All right. Oh, that's actually super easy. Brew balance. Yeah, they're going to have like a flavor called Helen of Troy. What was even the number I just rolled? Like literally on the table, David, 36. Okay, so we are launching new flavor called Helen of Troy. So what are give me examples of where's modern day Troy? I just want to say Middle Eastern, but that's not. Where's modern day Troy? Where is modern day Troy? I think it's in Istanbul, Turkey, maybe. Yeah. Give me Turkish spices and ingredients that may be used in kombucha. Give me. Sure. Rose petals, that seems lovey. Ingredients. Okay. You see how it goes? I have a dream. All right. Happy MLK Day. I already did that one. Like, what if I said, I have a dream. What MLK would have wanted. What MLK was saying. I can say like why MLK was wrong and that would work, but I want to make a subject line for MLK Day that is hooking but not insensitive with something like why MLK was wrong. Ultimately, I want to promote inner city education donations. Yeah, honoring MLK is good. It doesn't give you a reason. I have a dream. The dream still needs you. I'm just going to go honoring MLK. We need your help. For little children will one day live in a nation where they'll be judged by the color of their skin, not by the content. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day down in Alabama, vicious racist, the governor having his lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification. One day, right down in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today. Alabama. All that is good. You have to take MLK and bring in Nicole Hannah Jones. Wow. When was MLK shot? 1968. Do some quick math. 2020, because I'd be writing for 2026 minus 1968. Right, that was my day. 58. Okay. 58 years ago, MLK was shot. And today, we remember his legacy. And while things are not perfect, we have come a long way. In the rhetorical style of MLK, right? And today, we remember his legacy. Well, okay, let's go back to that. What dream? Yeah, that's going to be the one, right? Pull that out. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they'll be judged by the color of their skin. Well, they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of the character. And while that may be true, that's hard. I'm trying to 50. So every year we remember his legacy. Okay, so what I'm doing is saying things we've come a long way. That's not where I want to go. I want to say he fought for equality. He fought, there's the rhetorical style. He fought so that his 4 kids would be judged by, wouldn't be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. He fought. I really like this here. That's going to help me lead in really well. He fought so that every valley, so that every hill and mountain would be made low. And yet, give me a stat about inner city education and literacy rates. Nah, that's fine. Yes, sure. Give me 2 stats. Okay, I'm just gonna, and yet only about 17% of black 4th graders in urban schools. I don't know if the black is the important part here. And yet, well, it might be, I don't know. And yet only about 17% of black 4th graders in urban schools read at or above proficient levels. That's why this year we're teaming up with Elevate Ed. What does Elevate Ed, our charity, do to help these kids? Whoa. Okay, let's do a different name. Sorry. That's why we're teaming up with ChatGPT is just making creative ideas by thieving. That's fun. This year we're teaming up with Elevate with City Siren, City Escape, City with Urban Education Front. Okay. With the Urban Education Alliance. They are an after-school program that focuses on reading comics, cookbooks, and claymation. I don't. Comics, cookbooks, anything that starts with C that you would read. Sure, and classics. They're an after-school program that focuses on reading comics, cookbooks, and classics. Fun stories that actually engage kids and get them excited to read on their own. With your donation of $20 or more, we can give one kid all of the, give 4 kids a month worth of reading materials and transform their lives for the better. donate today. So you see how short and powerful these are, right? So presumably these are people who, you know, they have a relatively warm audience. They're not like pitching random strangers on something. This would be like, let's say this is for free universal college, right? And I've got a list of people who are interested in education. They're interested in civics and being good people. And I'm saying like, hey, by the way, I'm just doing this year. This is a good thing. This is me giving back. I'm trying to use my platform to do some good. So one, that's a little brand equity for free universal college is like, hey, these are good people who help people. So if I ever have a sale like 6 months later, hopefully people remember that sort of thing. But that's not why you're doing it, right? You're doing it to actually be helpful and use your platform. And so we say, yeah, that's what we're going to do, right? So honoring MLK, we need your help. 58 years ago, it's been 58 years since MLK's assassin. I like the other one because it was shorter. 58 years ago, MLK was shot. So every year we remember his legacy on MLK Day. He fought for equality. I don't like how long that. He fought so that kids be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. That's just such an iconic line. I don't know how much we can pull from that. He fought for equality. He fought so that kids wouldn't be judged by the color of their skin. He fought so that kids fought for equality. He fought so that kids wouldn't be judged by the color of their skin. He fought so that every hill and mountain would be made low. And yet, only 17% of Black fourth graders in urban schools read at or above proficient levels. Are proficient in reading. And yet, only 17% of Black fourth graders in urban schools are proficient in reading. That's why this year we're teaming up with the Urban Education Alliance. They're an after-school program that focuses on reading comics, cookbooks, and classics. ... They read fun stories that actually engage kids and get them. They read. So I did. He fought for. Then we did. They are. They're an after-school program that focuses on reading comics, cookbooks, and classics. They read fun stories that actually engage kids and get them excited to read on their own. They have already transformed hundreds of lives. And now I'm remembering something that we did for political emails a while back. I don't remember if it was MLK or MLK. Wow. I don't remember if it was Donald Trump or Kamala Harris, but they did like, thanks to nice people like yourself, which I thought was a sweet hook because it creates an identity for people and then they can come back. They have already transformed hundreds of lives thanks to people like you, to kind people like you. With your donation of $20 or more, we can give we help. With your donation of $20 or more, of $20, we can help 4 kids learn to love reading. That CTA needs help. For 4 kids. Because I want to be like, he fought for equality, he fought for this, he fought for this. And yet, only 17% of Black fourth graders in urban schools are proficient in reading. That's why this year we're teaming up with the Urban Education Alliance. They're an after-school program that focuses on reading comics, cookbooks, and classics. They read fun stories that actually engage kids and get them excited to read on their own. They have already transformed hundreds of lives thanks to kind people like you. With your donation of $20, we can help dozens of kids learn to love reading. With your donation of $20, we can help dozens of kids learn to love reading. There's like one more line in there, right? Their donation of $20, we can 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's always like a very specific amount, right? With your donation of $20, we can help dozens of kids learn to love reading. A little bit goes a long way. Thank you. A little bit goes a long way. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, button. Yeah, nice. 58 years ago, MLK was shot, so every year we remember his legacy on MLK Day. He fought for equality. He fought so that kids wouldn't be judged by the color of their skin. He fought so that every hill and mountain would be made low. And yet, only 17% of Black fourth graders in urban schools are proficient in reading. That's why this year we're teaming up with the Urban Education Alliance. They're an after-school program that focuses on reading comics, cookbooks, and classics. They read fun stories that actually engage kids and get them excited to read on their own. They have already transformed hundreds of lives thanks to kind people like yourself. You is more casual though. Yourself is more correct, but thanks to kind people like you, with your donation of $20, we can help dozens of kids learn to love reading. Thank you. A little bit goes a long way. Great. I love it. Nice. Now we have our book or movie quote, the face that launched 1,000 ships. We have a new flavor, Helen of Troy, that's using some flavors. In the Iliad, there we go. You are beautiful. And beauty can be powerful. Helen of Troy was said to have a face that launched 1,000 ships. You are beautiful, and beauty can be powerful. Helen of Troy was said to have... Do I want that to be one line? And beauty can be powerful. Helen of Troy is said to have a face that launched 1,000 ships. And at Brew Balance, we want to help make you beautiful inside and out. Our organic kombucha has probiotic benefits infused with superfoods and botanicals. And we just launched our newest flavor, Helen of Troy. with punchy notes of cardamom, rose petals, and cinnamon, straight from Turkey. Modern day Turkey. They use we use adaptogenic infusions, linked with stress-free herbs, and functional ingredients designed to support gut health, immunity, and while supporting gut health, immunity, and energy levels, while giving your skin and hair a natural radiance. Let your beauty shine with our new Helen of Troy. Is it a blend brew? With our new limited time Helen of Troy brew. Order now. Great. All right, so the premise is there, the outline is there, but we need something a little bit different to just make it kind of flow together, right? Subject line: the face that launched 1,000 ships. Body: you are beautiful. So we've connected face to body. We have a good subject line intro agreement, and we made sure that first line is rather short. That's important. Don't go with a long first line that looks intimidating. You're like, why do I want to read this? Keep it short at the beginning. You are beautiful, and beauty can be powerful. Otherwise, I could go like, you are beautiful, and beauty can be powerful, but I don't want to do that because I want to keep that first line as short as possible. You are beautiful. Bold italic. We're going to use our design to do some speaking for us, right? You are beautiful. ... And beauty can be powerful. Helen of Troy was said to have a face that launched 1,000 ships, and at Brew Balance, we want to help make you beautiful inside and out. So that's a nice little objection there. That it's like, hey, outside beauty is in everything, especially with the kombucha crowd, right? They're going to be a little bit different. So we're going to say, we want to make you beautiful inside and out. Our organic kombucha has probiotics. This line is doing the same thing here as our organic kombucha. So that's the information block. There's a lot going on there. Okay, that's gonna go to that line with punchy notes of cardamom, rose petals, and cinnamon, straight from modern day Turkey. Our organic kombucha has adaptogenic infusions that blend fermented tea with stress-reducing herbs. Every bottle is chock full of ingredients that support gut health, so already I'm like, do I need that it has stress reducing herbs or anything? Our organic kombucha, I'm gonna pull that out, make it shorter, even shorter. You're beautiful, and beauty can be powerful. Helen of Troy was said to have a face that launched 1,000 ships, and at Brew Balance, we want to help help make you beautiful inside and out. Every bottle is chock full of ingredients that support gut health, immunity, and energy levels while giving your skin and hair a natural radiance. But now we are taking inspiration from Helen herself. With Helen herself, our newest flavor, Helen of Troy, showcases, I don't know about that word, like flaunts. Something a little bit flirtier. Our newest flavor, Helen of Troy, flaunts punchy notes of cardamom, rose petals, and cinnamon straight from modern day Turkey. Invest in, grow. Is my webcam still going? No, it's not. It's like not invest in. Let your beauty shine with our new limited time Helen of Troy brew. Order now. Of organic ingredients. Yeah, all the rest of that isn't necessary. How many lines? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines, baby. Okay. Booker movie quote, the face that launched 1,000 ships. You are beautiful, and beauty can be powerful. Helen of Troy was said to have a face that launched 1,000 ships, and at Brew Balance, we want to help make you beautiful inside and out. Hey, 4th line, what is that? That is our what's in it for me, right? We're going to make you beautiful inside and out. Every bottle is chock full of organic ingredients that support gut health, immunity, and energy levels while giving your skin and hair a natural radiance. But now we're taking inspiration from Helen herself. Our newest flavor, Helen of Troy, flaunts punchy notes of cardamom, rose petals, and cinnamon straight from modern day Turkey. Straight from modern day Turkey. Let your beauty shine with our limited time Helen of Troy brew. Great. I'm satisfied with that. That's good. And maybe I go through and change some bolding and italics. Yeah, launch 1,000 ships of brew, but we want to make you beautiful. We want to help make you beautiful inside and out. Every bottle is chock full of ingredients. They do this. Beautiful. Help you. I wish I could say you are beautiful inside and out. That'd be a good thing. We help you be beautiful inside and out. Every bottle is chock full. I wish I could say you are. And a Brew Balance. We help make sure you are beautiful inside and out. Ta-da! Nice. Now you see how my whole line changed structure because of when people are scanning, I want to say you are beautiful. You are beautiful inside and out. Every bottle is chock full of organic ingredients that support gut health, immunity, and energy levels while giving your skin and hair a natural radiance. But now we're taking inspiration from Helen herself. Our newest flavor, Helen of Troy, flaunts punchy notes of cardamom, rose petals, and cinnamon straight from modern day Turkey. Let your beauty shine with our new limited time Helen of Troy brew. Now, what's going on here? The one thing I would point out here is kind of the longer detailed ones that are showing off features. They're kind of long. I would say beautiful, beautiful, let your beauty shine.
I'm really gonna say like beauty, beauty, beauty. That's what I'm trying to focus on here. With our limited time brew. What I think we need here is a strong image, right? I want to say be a beautiful Turkish woman drinking kombucha. Be a beautiful Turkish woman drinking kombucha. With the Mediterranean Sea in the background. Canon 5D product photography. Realistic photography. Portrait photography. So I put portrait in there and product photography. We'll see how good of a... Yeah, no thank you. I don't want to personalize it. We'll see how good of a picture that comes out, because I think we're really going to do a lot of leaning on the image. Like I said, what we had before is a lot of description. It supports gut health, immunity, energy levels while giving your skin a natural hair radiance. It's just so much going on there, and it's like, okay, well, let's not do all that. Let's convey a lot of that in a picture, right? Let's try one more thing. Cardamom, cinnamon, and rose petals flying around. Okay. We'll see if it can even handle that. That's kind of a specific one, but that's what you come to AI for, right? Not quite. Like I was kind of hoping for like a more urban location. That's pretty good. I do like that. See, yeah, that's a lot more like ooh, ah, ooh. Can I? Whoa. Very strong. And then I want to very strong that one as well. Kind of wish those were combined a little bit. And we'll see what I get with the rose petals. Yeah, that's nice. Base that launched 1,000 ships. Any of those really stand out to me? Boom, boom. Got some ships in the background. That's really nice. Yeah, we have several pictures here that I really think are just like strong contenders. So let's just imagine this email here, right? So again, I want to focus on making sure that this is really nice here. Let me head to Figma because I think we're gonna pull on yesterday's thing, right? We wrote this thing. We're like, oh, it's kind of good. I really want you to see what this is gonna be like when we lay this out properly, right? Okay, so now we're getting into how copy and design and formatting can all be different. Now this isn't like I said, some short emails can be all copy because we're promoting something that's kind of like a real hands-on thing. It's going to be a little bit different, right? This is something I noticed when I was doing peanut brittle is the physical images of something you're going to consume can often be pretty powerful, right? So we're going to pick that one. Okay. And what I need here, sorry, you're going to get some design heavy moves here. So what I don't like here is I really wish that was kind of like more like that. And then I need more image up there. So pull this in. Beauty can't be powerful, blah, 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 blah. Drop that to size 16 font, probably. We're going to center it. I don't like how much stuff I have going on there. Why is my spacing so crazy? Okay. So with Photoshop, if you have Photoshop, I want you to do, and you could do this in Midjourney too, to be fair. What you could do, what I was going to do is like smart expand the top. So I can drop this in here, and then I can just say like, oh, I want that much, and then it will just like generative expand. I forgot that with Midjourney I can do the same thing, so I'm going to go to Midjourney, and I'm going to hit, because most of you probably aren't Photoshoppers, right? So I want to make sure. Would you stop? I want to make sure that you have the tools you need in order to. Which one did I pick? I thought so. More options, pan, I guess. And then I want to go up. So give me a little bit more headspace there. While that's working, we'll go ahead and spend a little bit more time in Figma really quick. All right, so we're gonna have a little bit more text in a different section down here. Every bottle does that. Okay. I have a different line still? No, I don't. Dink. Dink. Okay, so I'm also gonna need no, not that one. Give me one of the ones with the petals. Turkish kombucha with karma flying around, Canon ID, product photography. Ta-da. Great. So that'll be our second one. That's pretty nice. I want something that kind of frames it nicely. That's pretty good. I'm just gonna, I don't need it to be the highest resolution ever. So I'm just gonna download that. Nope, not what I want. Download. Okay, there we go. And I need something to the side of that now. Is that how I want it? Or I need one with a top one. So I can just have like kind of pink above it. Because I want to mobile optimize this. Yeah, we're gonna go top. So the problem that I have is while I do have this pink area, I wish it didn't have this. So I'm gonna try and patch that really quick. AI is amazing. Yeah. There's some textures and some water and some splash. I could probably even get rid of some of that. And just have a nice background. Yeah. All right, so one more thing, because it's getting a little wacky up there. You see there's kind of like some weird patches up there. And when I'm doing that, it's just kind of copying it over more. So here's a trick I like to do just to do this really quick. And I know this is a copywriting class, but again, this is all part of it, right? It's all design and marketing. If you're working by yourself, you're gonna have to do this all by yourself. So what I do is I add a little bit of Gaussian blur here. There you go. It's like 8 points. And then that allows me to have that like smoother texture up there and not worry about some of that. And then I'm just gonna take some of that off. Nope. And like really make sure that that is all clear. And now that top little patch, just doing a little work to smooth it out a little, right? Just a little subtler. Nice. All right, so now I'm going to export that. It's not quite as smooth as I want it to be because I erased too much of it. Sorry, I'm a perfectionist sometimes. All right, give me. Okay, that should be significantly smoother now. Ta-da. Okay, that needs to get bigger, way bigger. That font is now way too small. Let's bump it up to like 32 maybe. And try that at 32. And I don't like how that's on multiple lines for this format. If I was doing a long format like all written thing, I would do that, but I'm not. I don't want it to break out as many times. I want it to You are beautiful. And give me a button. I want to sample. Like normally I'd have some better color scheming here, but I don't now. So we're just gonna say that that's my brand color. I would change my oranges and everything to more of a pink vibe, and that would look. I can't believe I'm doing this. I think I'm about to edit this picture so that it does that. Let's say order. Embrace your beauty. Give me those rounded corners, like I don't know, 20 maybe. Yeah, let's just round the whole dang thing so that's a nice round button. Let's center her more. She's too uncentered. This one should be 32 again. 32 again. 32, 32. Okay, gotta switch that one up to be the pink color. Our button needs to become white. FF, FF, FF. Ta-da! I need that to go further down so that my image appears underneath that. This is not at all what I expected to do with this episode, but I had a point to prove. Okay. Now the problem is that rectangle in the middle needs a different vibe. Every bottle of, what is this called? What is this brand? Every bottle of Brew Balance. Every bottle of Brew Balance is chock full of all these things. Gonna have to give me, can I do a gradient like that here? I wanna like fade to black from transparent. Gradient? Give me, I guess, and but that one's got to be 0% transparency, and I need it to go up and down. Yep. And I want that to be taller. But the rectangle itself is going to get taller. We'll go underneath the brew itself. Give me that gradient, give me that line, because I don't want it to have a hard line there. I want it to just start there. And then I don't quite like that level, so we're just gonna go immediately to 50. Yeah, that's a little bit more natural. this isn't quite here. I think I'd add a few more graphic elements, but I don't want to extend this out to a crazy point, right? This is still about, I'm going to try and shrink that a little bit so that it stays on her, and I can kind of use her as my backdrop there. In fact, let me go ahead and make a slightly larger version of that as well, so that I can do that to the whole thing there. And I just want to do it like a little bit, just like a ta-da, like a little fade there. All right. You are beautiful, and beauty can be powerful. Enjoy. Was said to have a face that launched 1,000 ships, and at Brew Balance, we want to make sure you are beautiful inside and out. Embrace your beauty. Every bottle of Brew Balance is chock full of organic ingredients that support gut health, immunity, and energy levels while giving your skin and hair a natural radiance. Again, I would edit this to be pink and this to be pink. I am not going to do it today. And now, I'm just going to say none of that. We are taking inspiration from Helen herself. We are inspired. No. See, the format will dictate things sometimes. Inspired by Helen herself. Our newest flavor, Helen of Troy, flaunts punchy notes of cardamom, rose petals, and cinnamon straight from modern day Turkey. Let your beauty shine. And I need to crop that. To there, obviously. Okay, sweet. So I think you get like a little bit of an idea of that. Again, I could do this better. I could add some graphics here that actually like called out gut health, immunity, energy levels, and like kind of visually represent that here. That'll be for a different day though. I don't think I need to go too hard on this. Again, the general premise is that we're coming in saying you are beautiful and beauty can be powerful, blah, 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 blah. Very cool. See, I did that, but it makes that picture not shine quite as much. So I think I'm going to try duplicating and gimme. Cool. So I think you see what we're going for. Maybe that's like way too tall of an image. Probably is. But yeah, we would play with that to add some more sides onto that in mid-journey so that I could shrink it up and everything. But we don't need to go for a complete finished version here. Though I want to, I'm desperately tempted to. I have to record all your other ones. I can't spend so long on one-off emails on a day that's supposed to be just about writing. So anyways, you see how that all works, how you can put it together. You don't need to design it. However, once again, kind of like yesterday, you see how the design starts to push things in different directions. You go, oh, shoot. Well, instead of all those words, I could use a couple images and then get that to 2 or 3 lines instead of 4. So that's how you do it, everyone. That's how you can use a book or a movie quote and the rhetorical style of MLK to promote different stuff. I suggest that you go out and try the same thing on your own. And then in addition to that, things that I didn't work on at all today, you're going to have 3 different homework assignments. Again, several short emails. 1, you're going to go after the hero's journey. You're going to persuade readers to see your product as a pivotal tool in their own epic journey to self-improvement. You're going to say, don't look back. That's a thing from, what is his name? Harp guy. No! He went into hell. I mean, the underworld, of course. What is happening to me? I'm normally so good at mythology. Who tried to rescue his wife from Hades in Greek mythology with music? Orpheus, my goodness. Okay, so that would be Orpheus. So the example I was just giving was an example from Orpheus. He looked back and his wife did not get to return to the world of the living. So that's just something you can do to kind of say like, hey, make a change, look forward, look up the story of Orpheus where he makes a deal with Hades and says, can I take her out? And he says, sure, but only if you don't look back until after you've left. And so use that as an example to say like, hey, you shouldn't be looking back behind. You should always be moving forward in order to reach your goals. Go ahead and look up that story, the story of Orpheus, to do that. And then finally, The Road Not Taken, or Less Taken, which is the Robert Frost poem. You're going to encourage readers to step outside the norm and choose your product for a more rewarding outcome. Go ahead and use all of those as examples. So here's some of your other assignments. The hero's journey. Your task is to write an email that's promoting travel, a gym membership, or a personal development course using Joseph Campbell's hero's journey structure to inspire the reader. Frame the reader as the hero and the product as their key to success. Don't look back. Use the myth of Orpheus and Eurydice. Look that up. Basically, they're talking to Hades, and Hades is like, yeah, you can take Eurydice out of the underworld, Orpheus, as long as you keep looking forward and don't look back. Well, he looks back at the very end and doesn't end up rescuing her, but he had the chance to. The point of it is to use that story as a hook into don't look back, keep moving forward in order to reach your goals, right? So go ahead and use that to create an email for a product or service that helps people move forward in life, whether it's a fitness program, career coaching, or debt relief. The theme could be about resisting the temptation to look back at past failures and focusing on future successes. And finally, The Road Not Taken. Use Robert Frost, the poem, The Road Not Taken, as a framework for an email promoting a product or service that offers a unique or unconventional approach. Frame the choice to use your product as the road less traveled, and explain why it makes all the difference. All right, that's very good. Go ahead and do both of those this week. So you're going to be writing 5 short emails. Like I said, this is where it all starts. This is where you really start to put, the rubber to the road and finally put all of these practices into practice and form them into a unique skill set that you can actually charge for, because all of it's theory when you're writing in a Google Doc. When you're actually hitting send and writing a subject line and body copy and putting a button in there, now all of a sudden you're doing some real work. All right, and tomorrow we're talking about how to sell the big stuff. If you've got people, instead of a $20 donation, you're trying to get them to buy $2,000 worth of stuff. Well, if that's the case, and you've been wondering, like, how do I do this? This is how I'm actually going to be able to make a career out of this. Or maybe you own your own business and you're trying to do this. You're like, I'm desperate to sell that high ticket stuff to really make my funnel economics work. Tomorrow is the day for you. You're going to figure out how to promote offers that make you serious money. Check it out tomorrow. Check it out tomorrow. We're going to be diving into long emails, the kind that grab your attention, build trust, and make people invested in the outcome so that they just can't help but to take action, so they just can't help but to buy from you. Don't miss it. I'll see you there.